Good evening.
Good evening. How's it going?
I'm really good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I think I just nailed that with the entrance.
Yeah, that was smooth.
It was really smooth. I'm quite excited. I think that deserves a
It only took
dram.
5 years.
5 years. Thank you. Cheers for that. Okay, so how is it going, Jess?
Yeah, I'm good. I think, I was just saying how it's feeling like really wintry all of a sudden. And the last time I was, doing a pour and sip was very much summer in August. So it feels like a year has passed almost. It feels like ages, and so happy to be back.
Yes. Yeah, I'm happy to have you back. It's lovely to see you. Yes, and welcome back to all our pour and sippers, our regulars, our newbies who are joining us for the first time. I am Andy, and this is my co-host Jess. We are going to be taking you on this whiskey journey tonight through different types of whiskies that we're going to be trying tonight. Lots of different styles, cask finishes, and lots of exciting things. If you are new, please try and get involved. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your tasting notes. Let us know your comments, your questions to our guests. We've got 3 awesome guests, 4.
Yes, 4 guests.
Essentially. I'm just pointing with this. I just realised that it's Godzilla's tail. Fell off my son's Godzilla, and I haven't glued it back on yet, but it makes a really good point.
I can keep it.
It's okay. So there's that. Welcome everybody. Press the wrong. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So it was going smooth. Everybody is already commenting. Alex Battersby, good evening all. Barry Morgan is saying the beer cask sounds interesting. Well, we've got a super special surprise for you, right, Jess?
Well, I was going to say, one, which beer cask are you talking about? Because we have 2, which is very cool.
Yes.
And yes, the order of proceedings tonight. Yes. Okay. First up, we are tasting the Timorous, Beastie, and West Brewery beer cask finish collaboration with not just Douglas Ling's global brand ambassador Dougal, but we also have a very special guest from the distillery itself, Lucio. So that is first up, and then next we have another beer cask whiskey, but distinctly different. So it's the Nc'nean Quiet Rebels Simon edition with their blender Matt. And then finishing us off is the Girvan 40-year-old, which is the oldest whiskey we've ever had on Pour and Sip from 1985, which was released for Master of Malt's 40th anniversary. And that is with head of whiskey Sam, which some very eagle-eyed pour and sippers have already noticed that we don't have the honorary sort of resident Dave Worthington on this month. But in the words of, I believe it was Malcolm Tucker, we brought in the big man, Sam.
Yeah, we brought the big guns for it. Yeah.
Actually, I missed a very exciting thing. Actually, Andy.
What?
Oh, okay. Well, no. Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what? I'm going to say that. I'm going to say.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. I thought you had already said that. Sorry. We are also excitingly for tonight's first dram joined by Lucio from the from the brewery. I'm so used to saying distillery that I'm not used to saying brewery, but we're going to get to talk about all things about that beer cask and the Timorous Beastie cask finish. So anyone with any burning questions, get them in now, because this is going to be a pour and sip first. I think
double on the guest front.
Yeah. Andy was amazing, apparently. I'm thinking you're talking about my entrance. Yeah, it was. Then asking me what's with the dinosaur tail. Peter Gilmore is asking how Godzilla can save the world without his tail, and how big is Godzilla's dram, and what dram would Godzilla like?
Food for thought. That could be your question at the end.
It could be my question at the end. My son would be able to answer. I think he's the only 4-year-old watching Godzilla v King Kong. But anyway, I digress.
Also the only one that could talk about whiskey, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Should we just get on with this?
Yes.
We have nattered on. Enough. Yeah, absolutely enough of me. I seem to have verbal diarrhea right now. Hold on a second. What are you doing? Here we go. Right, let's invite our first guests up, Lucio and Dougal. Boom. Here they are.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey guys,
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
doing okay? We're
Absolutely fine, man.
live in a brewery, so
Yeah, you two are going to have to make a pact of when each other speak, because otherwise, you gotta go. Is it my go? Is it your go? Same time. Right. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Lucio, firstly, whereabouts are we talking to you from today?
Pardon?
Whereabouts are you?
Oh, so I'm originally from Italy, but I've been living in Scotland for 10 years, and I joined West Brewery 3 years and a half ago. So as a head brewer, for whoever is not familiar with West, we're based in an iconic Templeton building in Glasgow, and we basically brew. So our ethos is having a Glaswegian heart and a German head, because we only brew in accordance with German Reinheitsgebot from 1516. So as far as I know, we the only brewery in UK. We only the brews in accordance to the Reinheitsgebot. So
What is that? Sorry, if anyone.
sorry, I'm sorry for whoever is not really into the so it's purity law. It's a German purity law that dictates that you're only allowed to brew with four ingredients, which is water, barley, hops, and yeast. We cannot add anything else other than that in our process at all. No enzymes, nothing at all. And so yeah, it was a nice challenge to make this collaboration. The singularity of this specific beer that we made. So when we decided to make the collaboration, this beer was designed exclusively for this collab. So everything was brewed just to go in those specific barrels. So I remember we met months before the collab, and of course we tasted the whiskey, and we knew what kind of expect in terms of flavors from the barrel aging. We're not really much a brewery that works with barrel aging, so it was a nice challenge. We decided we basically went for the most obvious German style for the barrel aging. It's a nice, very malty and strong Doppelbock, because we wanted to gain a lot of the flavor, the vanilla flavor for the barrel aging, and so came up actually the beer is actually very nice.
Yeah.
And
You would say that.
yeah, I can say that. No, it was something we were really, so the result of the beer itself was really really nice. And of course, but it was this collab was not just about us making a beer that was good for the bars. Also, we wanted to make something that was also interesting for Douglas Ling. For the second part of the collab, because they had to, of course, get some nice beery notes from the barrels that we used for the beer itself. So
How did, from your side, Dougal, how did it come about?
well, yeah, so it's something that we've made quite a. I guess it's maybe the big talking point in whiskey at the moment is all about transparency and tracing your casks back and having a little bit more of that from the very beginning of the process right to the very final point, being able to say this is not only where our cask came from, it was what was in it. So being able to go one stage further, work locally with the guys here in Glasgow with West, who we're obviously very familiar with anyway. If you're in Glasgow, you know West Brewery. And this chance to have a level of detail that maybe you don't normally get. So not only did we know the type of beer that was going in, we knew how long the beer had been in the cask for, and then we could work from there. So it's maybe a new chance for us to go one layer further than we normally get the chance to do. So it's not been a huge volume. Like, it's been a very kind of this. We like to think this is the first of many. I think it's worked very well for all of us. But you're really only talking. We only got 300 bottles from this cask. So it's a very small batch of what we actually produced. But it's fully trackable about everything that's going on with that cask finishing, which is quite nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so, how long was the finish for?
So from Lucio's side, it was
From ours, 80 days.
Okay.
The beer was in barrels for 80 days, and then we just give them them.
and then for us, we were 6 months. So,
Okay.
which is for Douglas Lane quite normal. We're not typically known for these really big dominant cask finishes. We tend to float around 3, 6, 8 months. We're not really this 2 years, 3 years big old cask dominating. We still want the whiskey. We want the whiskey to shine through with the cask adding a nice element to it.
That kind of says, so did you choose this collab to be with Timorous Beastie rather than anything else in your portfolio?
Exactly.
So does it suit that Highland style, basically?
Yeah, I think there was a kind of combination of one going for a really malty style of beer, malt forward beer, and for us, Timorous Beastie is a very malt forward dram as well. So for those that know us, people know our Scallywag bottlings, Big Pete. Timorous Beastie is our representation of the Highlands. So this is us taking 5 single malts together to make the Timorous Beastie. So in here you've got our own Strathern distillery, so our little small one up in Isles. You've got Dalmore, nice good name in there, Glendoyne, Blair Athol, and Glengarry, but all typically aged bourbon cask only. So we're going bourbon barrel only, really, really cereal focused, making sure all the distillates kind of shine through and how we've married them together shines through. So it's when we're working with a cask finish for something like a beer cask, it made perfect sense to partner it with our Timorous Beastie bottling.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, on the nose, this is absolutely amazing, and this is really sitting with where my palate is at the moment. But it's like with beer casks and cask finishes in beer or stout or whatever it's been, I think there's been quite a lot of, it's considered quite difficult to get the kind of, and it can sometimes go the other way, and this doesn't smell like that at all to me. Why do you think people kind of have sometimes steered away from, beer cask finishes?
Yeah. I think they can sometimes be a bit funky sometimes and go a bit of a weird direction. Also, unless you're very, very close to the brewery, in our case, it was literal hours from the casks being emptied with the beer to us getting them and refilling. So it means you're guaranteeing that kind of wet cask experience. So you're going to make sure you maximize the influence and nothing funky can come through, because obviously you're working with a much lower ABV. There's always a chance of some kind of something coming into that cask you might not want flavor-wise, which happens very quickly, rather than us where we can empty a bourbon barrel or a sherry butt and it can take months for us to reuse it again. This was literal hours of, we are about 20 minutes between the brewery and our bottling plant. So a very fast process to go from brewery to us.
Okay.
Gosh, that's amazing. I was going to say, when you were, so did you sort of like design or, come up with the beer, the brew, obviously because Timorous Beastie is what it is. Yeah. Did you then sort of brainstorm how the beer would be together to then complement those, like the cask finishes, like both of them?
Yes, we had this brainstorming at the very beginning of when we were planning for this collaboration, and of course the proposal from distillery side, from Timorous Beastie, was okay. We can supply you with, this Timorous Beastie barrel. So of course there was a lot of brainstorming here at the brewery, trying to understand so what is going to be working best. So because barrel aging is it's tricky for beers, because sometimes it doesn't necessarily work very nice in terms of, because the beer can be completely overwhelmed by the barrel or cannot take anything from the barrel itself. So again, we were just aiming to make something that was extremely interesting for us and it could actually survive, let's say, the barrel aging, but also something that was, again, that could give some interesting notes to the whiskey afterwards. And so
it's a pretty punchy beer as well. A delicate 8.4% double rot is what came out. So light and delicate is a
very, very light and delicate. So a proper, we call it meditation beer. Like it's very, very meditative beer. So
okay, I like that.
And so Doppelbock, is that a style of beer,
It's a
or is
style
that
of
the
beer,
name?
yes.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
style of beer, yes. Sorry for not. Yeah, it's a style of beer.
We're all whiskey drinkers here. We need to.
No, sorry,
Yeah.
guys. So yeah, I'm used to talk probably more to people beer enthusiastic. So
Yeah, I get it.
yes, so Doppelbock is traditional German style. It's probably the if you want just to specify, it's technically a lager. Okay, so but it's a very heavy, normally dark lager with a lot of dark malts, and there's a lot of dark fruits, chocolatey, kind of these very warm flavors that you would not expect probably from a lager, because especially if you're used to drink something like very industrial lagers from you would not expect something like that. So the beer was, I think, before barrel aging was about 6.5%, and then of course it gained some ABV after the barrel aging, and it went up to 8.4. That was a nice surprise to have. It's very nice and warm. It's extremely. And we were, unfortunately, we didn't save any beer from the barrel aging, like to compare before and after, but we were extremely happy with the result, absolutely. And the beer again was sold out. So
Oh, really? Okay, so we
Yeah.
can't get our hands on the beer.
no, I'm sorry, guys. Just look at it.
Yeah, it was nice, if I can still use the joke, was the nice
Yeah.
kind of, so the kind of classic West style is that a lot of the kind of black and red and black bottle, and so we thought our Timorous Beastie works very well with that style anyway.
Cool,
And then you can just make out the actual imagery on the bottle is a kind of backdrop of Glasgow and the West Brewery, so it's such a unique looking building that it's kind of nice to capture on the bottle. There's all these kind of nice touches that we can throw on the bottle, and all done in house because we're quite small scale, so we can get all these things done quite quickly.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you do another, or when you do another collaboration, petition for it to be called Timorous Yeasty, maybe?
You've thought of that one first, did you?
It was the first thing I thought of.
Okay, that was yours. You didn't go to ChatGPT and say, make me a funny joke about beer. And
No, Andy, I've got skills.
That's why she's right.
However, I was also going to say, talk of the beer selling out, and we've got some comments on the chat saying it'd be great to be able to taste the beer alongside the whiskey. Well, we have a treat for you, because if you buy a bottle of this Timorous Beastie from our Pour and Sip member store, not only will you get a pretty good discount on the bottle itself, but you'll also get a free bottle of the beer with the bottle of the whiskey. So your dreams have been answered.
Okay.
Big reveal.
That was the offer. Okay, because I said there was an offer earlier. That's it there before, and they were both looking at me like we have no idea what you're talking about. That's the offer.
It was so secret.
Yeah, these are the things that happen in the background that we don't know about.
Exactly.
This is such a secret deal, guys. That
I didn't know that. No. I just make the beer
he just makes the beer.
Someone else is selling it. So
we should do some tasting notes. Loads of people are talking about this. I'm just trying to get to the position. Because Jonathan Child said it would be great to have a beer to taste alongside. So the beer, he says. So there you go, Jonathan. Just rocked your world. There's lots of notes coming through. Steve Conway agree on the beer notes. My wife's note was it's very big. Sorry, which I can't disagree with. Nick Tarrant getting nougat on the palate, and it's really nice. Steve Conway Williams, there's a hint of pick and mix and sweet shop on the nose too. Peter Gilmore, rich malt vanilla on the palate. I got this as well, for the nose for me. So Dave Walker saying he's got a really kind of like a lovely marshmallow note for me, was something I was getting quite strongly. And he's a beery washed marshmallow on the nose with some malty notes. Peter Gilmore, nice finish, rich and deep. Peter Ray, lovely, has definite yeasty notes, but also sweet. Reminds me of Dolly mixtures. Do you remember Dolly mixtures, guys? I loved Dolly mixtures. They were great. C. Con Williams, there's a really spicy lemon on the palate for me. Really thick, creamy texture. I approve. Malcolm Tucker palate, vanilla, black treacle, raisins, sultanas, wood, fruity, peppercorns, fresh mint, and malty cereals. And lo and behold, Dave Worthington is here, but he's not presenting. He's just watching. And he's asking if we're missing somebody tonight. It has felt like Dave has been here more than you, Jess. So it's like over the last couple of months. He says he was going to the pub, but decided to sit in front of the fire with a dram. Welcome, Dave.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Out to Dave.
Go
Interesting.
on.
So I was going to say interesting about all the sort of like sweet shop talk, because I think that's probably not the first thing that people would think of when you tell them you've got a beer cask whiskey.
So I guess maybe if anyone's not familiar with the kind of classic bottle of Timorous Beastie, so it is very like honeyed cereal and this kind of honeys over peaches, lots of fresh orchard fruit. So it's just kind of actually very sweet forward. I've done a whiskey pairing with baklava before, which is amazing. But I think the beer cask has almost like turned that note up. It's like amplified the sweetness. It's gone honey to honeycomb. It's got this kind of real kind of burnt caramel element to it, both through the beer influence and just this kind of final cask finish for us. Essentially, we've basically double bourbon mature cast this. So
yes,
yeah, and it's not what I like about it. If anyone's tried it, it's not overwhelmed the kind of the actual spirit at all of the Timorous Beastie. It's like, and that's my issue with cask finishing. Sometimes is you've tried stuff where just what it's been finished in has kind of overpowered what the kind of house spirit is, and that's not the case with this at all. It's really quite, I think, like you said, it just feels like it's amplified it rather than kind of dominated anything. Added some kind of like dark chocolatey stuff in there, obviously, but it's nothing like overpowering at all. Peter Gilmore is saying it's very good label design. Claire M is saying definitely getting honey from this one. Barry Morgan saying lemon honey, like whiskey lemsip max. So maybe like a hot toddy. Jess has gone. Enough. Bye. Wild-eyed Bill was saying a bottle of beer does come with the whiskey in the members store. Niall says worst tasting note ever, but reminds me of a Hart Brothers Glen Albin I had a long time ago. Do you guys know what that means?
Oh, Hart Brothers, another bottler. So
okay, I've not heard of those before. Okay, and Steve Con Williams is saying it's not so sold out. Clearly, the beer.
So like I say, we're coming from the brewery, and you can't get the bottle here at the brewery anymore. So you guys must have the last batches available.
Okay, so let's say Master and Malt have taken the last batches of this, so it can't. No one, everyone's coming to the brewery again. Where is it? And they go, ask Master.
That was always again a nice thing, especially working here. We could have the discussion about basically curating the perfect half and half. I don't know if this is a very Scottish thing of talking about a half and half, or a half and half. So the idea is you have a measure of whiskey and a measure of beer essentially, and so we basically curated that using the beer and the whiskey together that balance each other out.
Sorry to just
people on the menu.
Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to invite Jess back onto the screen, but I actually can't see where she is on this thing. So
I'm more than chill about the technical issues, just
it was. I was about to say, you never say that things are going well before the thing has finished, because this is what happens. Okay. So I should probably. Jess has joined this. Add to stream. There we go. Okay, there you go. They've changed the layout of that. Usually you can see it from here, but you were popping up with like on a banner kind of thing. Anyway, you're here now. That's all that matters. So interestingly, you were talking about this isn't going to be the first collaboration. You were saying there's possible chances in the future for more stuff.
It's probably chances worth some
discussion. Oh, okay, they haven't even discussed it yet. This is like first dates, and I just asked them if they're going to see each other again. And Lucha's like, "Yeah, I'm well up for it." Dougal's like, "Oh, God."
No, I'm sure. Like I said, I'm not going to speak for the guys as well, but I think in terms of kind of a collaboration that's super fun, and it works on both sides because the guys here at the brewery have got an amazing bar as well, and so it works really well to have everything kind of there on tap, but also for us to do a whiskey pairing with that has worked really well. I believe we're already planning our Burns night again, so we do a Burns night tasting with the guys here in January, so there's definitely lots of potential in the future for us to work together, which is quite a nice one.
Cool. Carol from Douglas Lang said that you tried to get a beer sample, but it was already sold out, apart from the bottles that you guys secured for the members store. Sorry.
Ooh, the last ones.
The last ones, exactly. I am having an absolute nightmare here with this restream. Malcolm Tucker has said, Andy and technology. It's not actually my fault. That has changed the interface design to blame restream. And Dave Worthington saying his favourite cocktail is the Hoffenhof. And so, well, anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you both. Lucio, I'm also fully aware that you need to go back to work because there's a possibility that the whole of the brewery is ransacked.
Someone has to make the beer, guys.
Someone has to make the beer. It's a terrible job, right?
It's a terrible job, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very, I feel so sorry for you. You have to make the beer. But thank you, both of you, for talking to us. It's been awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely loved that dram. Absolutely stunning stuff. And it seems like everyone else liked it as well. And hopefully we can have you both on again.
Yes.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know where I went then. But I'm annoyed. I
don't know how the Pour and Sip is all blaming me for that.
Yes, that was my fault.
Yeah, I just dropped it. Come on, take that back. It was not my fault. I love
that. That was so good.
On the nose, it was just wonderful. It was like right on my shoulder. I love the whole double bourbon cask maturation. It's just stunning, like really creamy and sweet shoppy. And the marshmallow note is what I'm getting.
Yes, I got loads of like dried mango, like really sweet, but like so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking really good. I should have asked this when Dougal was here, but if the original was paired with a baklava, what would that be paired with?
Who knows?
We'll have to email him.
Well, he'll be back on soon at some point. So we can ask him something. But we do have lots of other drams to try tonight, and I'm fully aware of time. And we've already gone half an hour here, and with one dram in, guys. I know everyone's having fun though. So,
yes, one beer cask to another.
To another beer cask, and this time we're going to speak to Matt from Nc'nean. So I'm just going to bring him on now.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, team. How you doing?
Very good.
Really good. Thank you. Well, how have you been?
Good. Slightly cold in my shed as winter has come along, but otherwise surviving.
Left the guitar there in the background, just in case.
Guitar background because I can't play it. Ukulele, on my hip, ready to really be called into action.
I only ever dabbled in the ukulele rather than guitar because it has as many strings as I have fingers, and anything more than that just doesn't make sense.
It does make a lot more sense. Yeah.
And where is your shed? Like, whereabouts are you coming from?
This fine building is my multi-purpose studio. So this is where I do a lot of the blending for Nc'nean, as well as most of our photography for the website and for social media and stuff, and develop our cocktails, and there's all sorts.
Where magic happens.
It's at the back of my partner's shop.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's got a pottery cafe, and we had a big abandoned space at the back, so we built some big sheds for personal endeavors.
Oh, that's good. I like that. And you say that the kids you leave at the house, and then you can just help down to the shed.
Exactly. Yeah. Just it's a 5-minute drive, and then
you've
nailed. It's quiet until I start playing ukulele, and then it sounds awful.
That's right. You've nailed that. You don't need to soundproof a room though for ukulele, do you? It's not the loudest instrument.
No, it's definitely not loud enough for
that. Yeah, exactly.
Get the amp on it, like. So have you been on Pour and Sip before?
I have, but I believe it was many moons ago. Normally, the far more talented and wonderful Annabelle Thomas, the founder of Nc'nean, does these things. But being far more talented than me, she's also far busier than I am. So I'm sure she's doing something wonderful today. But also she was less involved than normal in the making of this whiskey, because it's part of our Quiet Rebel series, which is me sitting down with someone kind of directly associated with the distillery and making something for them.
Right. So for anyone who doesn't remember or doesn't know, what is your role at Nc'nean?
Oh, so I am the blender. So I look after basically all of our liquid operations. So that's bringing casks into the warehouse and then sampling everything and then putting the blends together, selecting single casks, selling liquid to independent bottlers, and anything to do with finished whiskey. I normally get to have a taste of it first and say yay or nay.
Okay, amazing. And so yeah, you were mentioning about obviously the Quiet Rebel series, of which this whiskey that we're tasting here is a part of, the latest release in, I believe.
It is indeed, and it's very, very new. So it only came out maybe 2 weeks ago, I think. This is the 5th edition of the Quiet Rebel series, where, as I said before, every year I sit down with someone that works for the company, and we make a whiskey together. So it's to suit their taste, their personality, whatever they were looking to do. If they want to do something unique and fun, then we get to have a play around. And this year came with the unique challenge of having to do a Quiet Rebels for 2 different people, because we pick our Quiet Rebel based off of the order when you join the company. So Annabelle being our founder, she gets to go first. Laura, our first employee in 2015, got to go second, and so on and so on, until we get to the wonderful Simon and Sarah, who are a husband and wife team, joined us same day, same time. So inseparable in that way, also just inseparable in general. They are what we normally describe as sickeningly in love. They just want to spend all of their time together, which is why they've moved to the incredibly remote Morven Peninsula to come and work for us at the distillery. And they, like me, also do kind of everything for the company, but theirs is much more practical. So heading up bottling in Sarah's case, and then Simon does warehouse management and wood chipping and distilling and is our beekeeper.
Beekeeper. I didn't know that you had like hives on the
We have bees, many bees. We only very recently got some honey as well. So it's a new addition to the biodiversity that we're trying to build up on the Morven Peninsula.
Does the honey remain like in the team or like behind the bar?
I mean, I've not got any yet, so
someone needs to check on that.
Few and not me.
So yes, so today we've got Simon's edition, which we're going from one beer cask to another. So I guess Simon used to work in a brewery or used to work in like the beer industry. What was his story?
Simon's worked in kind of like me in kind of every role within hospitality. His was much more restaurant focused, cooking focused. So he's worked as a chef for a number of years. And then from a more personal point of view, he's just a big walker. And I say big walker in terms of he's walked the entire length of the Appalachian Trail. He's walked the entire length of New Zealand with his partner Sarah as well. But very outdoory and active. And as such, and like most of those people, just really likes beer. I don't think he's ever particularly worked in a brewery, but is definitely fond of a pint.
Okay.
So that led us down this route for the Quiet Rebel series. Obviously, we try and build something to suit their palate, as well as, in this case, it was kind of suit the ideology of I want to do something with beer. And Simon, broadly speaking, when we're tasting things together, he likes things that are very malty, very chewy, very round, very full. So for this particular release, we're like, we don't have anything off the bat that we have that we can turn those flavors into. So we're going to need some outside help. We're going to need to collaborate with somebody. So much like the people at Douglas Lang, we've worked in collaboration, but for us, it was with Nc'nean, who are obviously renowned Scottish beer producers, but very much renowned for making cask finished beer, taking old whiskey casks and old rum casks and using that to finish off their beer. So we had a lovely chat with them over the course of many months. And the result was them brewing a custom oatmeal stout for us, and then conditioning that in some old Nc'nean casks. So we sent them 20 or so empty STR red wine casks from us that have been used to make a batch of Nc'nean. They then conditioned their oatmeal stout in these casks for about 3 months, which obviously conditions the wood and extracts some of the flavor and all that jazz, all the lovely seasoning that we're trying to do. And then those empty casks sent back to us. And then we do our finishing period. And for us, it's an incredibly short finishing period. It's something that I've found in the past. I mean, you mentioned earlier with beer cask whiskey, sometimes the beer can be a bit overpowering and it leads it down this kind of funky route. So we took kind of a two-pronged approach to avoiding that. And one is picking a style of beer that isn't kind of aggressively hopped. It's much more about that malt and chocolate and that full-bodied sweetness in the characteristics. And then secondarily, keeping that finish very, very short. So this is very much a whiskey product that's been kind of seasoned by beer cask rather than a very beer cask heavy forward thing. So just a 3-week finishing period for us. We'd run some tests, and anything kind of past 4 or 5 weeks, the beer really starts to take over, and it becomes much more of a kind of a gimmick rather than a whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, this nice short finish gives us that nice balance, I think, of having these seasoning elements, this flavor addition, and then really, really importantly for us, we were after, and this is one of the most pretentious things I think I'll ever say on camera, after this element of kokumi, which is there's a group of flavor compounds, but they present this kind of rounding effect, and it's like harmonizing and building unity between two very disparate kinds of flavors. So we've got like the very bright, juicy fruit, fresh characteristic of the Nc'nean spirit. And we've got this very malty, very chocolatey, very like borderline savory, but like funky, full beer cask. So how do we make these two elements kind of combine, coalesce into something lovely? And it's these compounds, and they're a byproduct of fermentation, but they create this kind of rounding effect that makes everything feel much more incorporated and full.
Okay.
Interesting. And
Pretentious, but
pretentious at all, actually.
Science. Full on.
I was going to say as well, not to divert too much from the whiskey that we're actually tasting, but you said it was like an oatmeal stout.
Correct.
Is that a happy coincidence that Sarah's Quiet Rebels was an oat whiskey cream liqueur, or was that
fully intentional from the very beginning? So obviously, as part of this Quiet Rebel series, is we sit down together, we find out what they love, and then we go away and make it. I started this conversation with Sarah, and Sarah does not like whiskey. Sarah would not entertain the idea of releasing a whiskey with her name on it, which is also fair. But there is something within the broader world of whiskey that she does enjoy, and that's cream liqueurs. She really likes just a Bailey's, or like Aaron Gold is another really, really good example, or like just anyone that's doing good cream liqueur. But specifically in the case of Bailey's, which is kind of easier to get your hands on, especially for where we are, considering the nearest supermarket's a 3-hour round trip. She likes to have Bailey's, but put half a shot of whiskey in it to bump the ABV up and sort of take away a little edge of the sweetness. So with the cream liqueur, that was always the plan. And then knowing that we were going to do an oatmeal stout for Simon, we thought, well, oats is a wonderful kind of dairy replacement and alternative that's much more, in our case, I think there's more kind of Scottish, but also opens the liqueur up for people with dietary requirements and allergies and things. So it seemed like a much more Nc'nean approach. So in the early test, we tried all different kinds of bases to mix with our whiskey for the cream liqueur, and the oats were just that real sweet spot. So it was very nice that we could have these two very diverging paths of oats to create two very, very separate things that are excellent in their own rights, but then also have the ability to bring them back together at the end and form a cocktail, which we've popped on our website, called the Hewitt, which is like a flat white martini. So making an espresso martini, but subbing some of your sugar and your traditionally vodka out for the Quiet Rebel Simon and Sarah, and you get this very luscious, full, decadent version of an espresso martini.
Did you create that one in the lab?
I created it in this very room.
This very room.
That very blender that's upside down behind me. There's far too many of the Nc'nean releases have been developed in this little shed, unfortunately. Okay.
If only walls could talk. I was going to say, it's interesting you say that we actually had a question from Steve Coleman Williams saying, is there any employee who has declined the chance to input into a whiskey? And I guess you already answered that for us because it was Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sarah definitely still wanted to be involved. And I think if we had really, really insisted you have to make a whiskey, then she probably would have. But that's not fun. It's not the idea of what we do. And it's like, I make a big point of like shouting about this. It's not a marketing exercise. It's genuinely, we have built such a wonderful team of human beings that are trying to do this incredible thing for Scotch whiskey and for the environment moving forward, that we like to celebrate the people that don't normally get a shout out, and it's the hard workers that actually make all of this liquid. So the story that you're telling the customer where they get to sit down and taste something that's not only been kind of made by this person, but it's made to their taste, and you have this very solid connection in liquid form with them. It's such a lovely thing to do, and it would be cheap to do that in a non-Nc'nean way. So it would be, I'd much rather just do whatever anyone wants to do, and we'll find a way of making it happen.
Yeah. We've got a lot of tasting notes coming in.
Magical. What have we got?
Chris Leno is saying the best beer in the world is one drank after a long walk.
Oh, I see.
It really is.
Simon and Sarah. Barry Morgan said he tried this at the whiskey show last week. However, it was an end of the day dram, and I wasn't able to appreciate it. Amazing nose and depth of flavour. What do you mean you weren't able to appreciate it at the end of the day at the whiskey show? What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about. Wish I had gone to the stand earlier. Great job. Jonathan Childs is asking, are the casks actually still wet when you fill them?
Not wet, because that's a legal requirement for single malt Scotch whisky, is that you must disgorge the cask fully before you put anything in. But there is obviously residue, and there's obviously kind of a retention of liquid within the staves. I think the industry estimate and kind of working knowledge is about 1% of the size of the cask. Its volume will be stored in liquid just in the stave. So if you've got a 200, or in this case a 225 litre hogshead, you're talking maybe just over 2 litres of previous fill liquid stored into the wood while it's hydrated. And obviously that's not just it's not like pouring 2 litres of beer into there. It's an osmosis effect while the liquid's sat in maturation, and whilst the spirit inside is kind of breathing in and out and leaching qualities from both the wood and from the previous fill of the cask.
Cool. Peter Gilmore is saying roasted coffee hazelnut on the nose. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Peter Gilmore again is saying bacon, spice and honey and a hint of malt taste and finish, fudge and truffles. Malcolm Tucker, nose, dry grass, red currant, slightly stale pack of chopped nuts. That is just slightly stale.
That's exactly what I was going for. Yeah,
not completely stale, just slightly.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them fresh. No.
And fruity coffee. That is great, Malcolm. Love that. David Woolcock is saying pastries and stout on the nose. That's breakfast sorted. Haha. There's a different breakfast to me. Jim Glancy, those Portuguese custard tarts. Yes, a pastel del nata, I think he's talking about, which is a great pastry. Steve Conn Williams, it's heartwarming seeing an employer recognizing everyone so openly.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we are genuinely proud of what we're trying to do and who we have working for us. So getting the opportunity at least once a year to shine a light on them is,
I think that's pretty cool. Simon number one is saying, when it says this number one, Jess, are you on Slack? Is this like a YouTube thing of the
Yeah,
YouTube?
I think there's just maybe one Simon. I'm not sure he's Sam.
Are you sure? Is it not something to do with those YouTube things where they've got like the rankings for comments?
Oh, maybe. Because I was going to say, I don't think there are 3 Steve Conn Williamses, but
that's what I mean. So I think it's one of those. I think when Jake is copy and pasting them from YouTube into Slack, they take the number that they're given by their YouTube ranking of comments.
Oh, well done, Simon.
So Simon, you are winning right now. Steve Conn Williams at number 3. You have
everyone else do better.
Yeah, do better. Make better comments. Yes, Jake is saying it's the YouTube ranking thing. Okay, I love this thing because it really gamifies our pour and sip experience, and so I'm a big fan of that. Simon, you are going to get the prize.
You can't make those promises, Andy.
if I was in charge, that's what would happen. He'd get the beer. I'm joking. Clive Hampton, very malty and dry, tastes nothing like the nose.
I agree.
Which absolutely. And David Woolcock. But this is nonsense because Steve Conn Williams was like 3rd just now, and now David Woolcock. I mean, it's a roller coaster here going on. Cherry beer, Belgium, and creamy spices on the palate. Jake, yes, it's the YouTube ranking thing. He's edited that comment and made it in italics. Not sure why. Real Boinga, who's now number 3. It feels like if you comment at that moment in time,
breaking the 4th wall, Andy. Like we've got to keep it like mysterious.
Number 3, honey toasted cereal on the nose and taste of honey sweetened muesli with fruit.
Nice.
Yeah, those are
I think it was what you were saying about the stout being like having like this like savory quality. And on the nose, I was like, oh my God, it's like full on chocolate, just like everything chocolate. And then actually when you drink it, it's like, yeah, you get almost like, yeah, like a lot of that nuttiness is like a savory nuttiness, and like it's quite dry on the finish. Yeah, it's really, really cool. It's like really takes you on a journey, this one.
Yeah. Good, I'm glad. Yeah, I say, I mean, that savory element comes from multiple places. Obviously, this is completely stout cask finish, so every drop has been previously held in our STR red wine cask before moving to these stout casks for the finish. And both varieties add kind of savouriness in different ways. So we do get broadly like a minerality from our STRs that presents itself as like saltiness and concrete and petrichor, but you also get this kind of bready warmth. Whenever I'm talking about our flagship whiskey, I describe it as having this like Scandinavian rye bread quality where it's warming and homely, but there's this very like light lick of green spice that I attribute to caraway. Some people say menthol or eucalyptus, but it's in that kind of that ballpark. So we've got like a double savory element there. And then obviously in the stout cask where the fermentation is so much more at the fore. And the fermentation for this was really very much at the fore because these things were a nightmare to filter. I think I can safely say that Simon has put more manual labor into his Quiet Rebels release than anybody else. Obviously, it's his job to look after the warehouse as well. And we had to come up with quite a creative solution for racking and filtering these casks because there's just so much kind of beer, funk and sediment kicking around in there, even after they're very fully disgorged because it finds pockets and sticks there. So, yeah.
Yum.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that there's Simon's blood, sweat, and tears in there, but he's certainly expelled those whilst trying to make this.
That's what he signed up for when he went for a stout cask. So would you obviously, you're highlighting sort of like the quiet rebels, like in the team that makes up Nc'nean, but like as a distillery, would you say that Nc'nean is a quiet rebel?
Well, we took that copy from the website, as in that was something we were looking for a name for this series. We knew we wanted to celebrate the people that work for us, and we couldn't think of something that really suited. Well, we couldn't think until this. Couldn't think of something that really suited what we were trying to achieve here. But it's certainly how we describe ourselves as a distillery. The point of us drawing our name from Nc'nean, the Gallic goddess of the spirits and the forest and this protector of nature. The tagline is "Walk your own path," and it is not to be indifferent to what everybody else is doing, but it's a sort of a calm confidence that what we think we're doing is the best solution moving forward for the industry. So that's not only in producing things as sustainably as possible, but it is hopefully injecting this extra layer of transparency and openness and community so that we can continue to share everything, but also grow our community and get more people excited about single malt Scotch whisky.
Definitely. And so, yeah, I mean, we didn't actually cover this much at the beginning, but yeah, so Nc'nean is, organic, B Corp, 100% renewable. Like there's so many like amazing like things that you're doing at the distillery to try and, lessen your impact on the environment and innovate in Scotch whisky. But what's like one thing that you're doing at the distillery that you feel like people don't know that you're doing, but you really want them to know?
Oh gosh. I can cover my favorite quirk of our incredibly low waste to landfill percentage. So since we've started production, every year I think we've recycled somewhere in the region of 99.94 or 99.97% of all of our waste has been diverted from landfill. It's the official phrasing. So obviously the vast majority of that is your draff and your pot ale. So your spent barley after you've done your mashing, and then the spent liquid that's left in the pot still at the end of the distillation day. Obviously there is the things that didn't get distilled, so this kind of slurry of nutrients and things. It's quite acidic. It's very nutrient rich, and it could be very potentially like very useful fertilizer if it wasn't so acidic. Because if you keep spreading that on your land, that acidity is going to start to kill things. However, the other quirk of what we're doing at the distillery is that we clean everything with enzymes, almost everything with natural enzymes. There's only one piece of equipment that is cleaned using like a traditional cleaning agent. So we use caustic, and it's for cleaning our mash tun, because as you can imagine, you make porridge and something 5 days a week. It gets real dirty and it needs a proper clean. And we haven't found an enzyme that's capable of doing that yet. But we also, at the moment, wouldn't choose to use it. So because we use caustic to clean the mash tun, caustic is highly alkaline. You can take the waste caustic that you've used for cleaning the mash tun and mix it with your spent pot ale. And it creates fertilizer, and it means that not only is our waste score very low for diverting it from landfill, it also doesn't leave the site, because our draft stays on site to feed our cows on our farm and our sheep, and then the pot ale is spread on the land for fertilizer.
Okay, wow, yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah, it's not the most glamorous side of things, so we don't put it on the bottle or shout about it all too often, but it's there.
No, but I think it's very cool to know, and it's like very innovative, and yeah, it's cool that even something you're sort of like remiss to use has actually come in quite handy.
Indeed, yeah. And you can see all these quirks. We released an annual sustainability report, which you can see on the website, and it covers all of the glorious stuff, all of the nitty-gritty stuff, all of the things that we'd love to do better. But it's instilling that layer of transparency and honesty and accountability to hopefully drag the entirety of the industry forward in terms of sustainable production.
Nice. We've actually got a little question on that as well from Steve Corn Williams saying, the waste that you were talking about, the 99.4%, I think you said, does that include non-whiskey related waste?
It includes every drop of waste from the distillery. I mean, that figure, it's 99.94, I think, this year. And obviously it's measured by weight. So the vast majority of the weight is the 5 tons of barley that come in every week and we use for draft and all that jazz. But that figure is genuine. Like, we measure the bins. So the 0.06% is things like packaging for staff food at lunchtime and little bits like that. And anything that we can do to find a second purpose for anything that happens, including like if you go into our still house today, there's benches set up there because everyone likes to eat their lunch by the stills because it's nice and warm. And the benches are just pallets that we've had and broken down and turned into new furniture. We sell like we call them wonky bottles. Obviously, with our beautiful bottle and the crazy printing process it has to go through, sometimes it's not perfect and there's imperfections, and we don't want the perfect ones to be used. But we also don't want them to go to waste. And we have so many people offering to take them and buy them. So we put like a nominal fee on the bottle, but we give all of that money to charity. And it means that people can take home these empty bottles and turn them into lamps and decorations and all this sort of stuff. Candle holders, they're popular. Soap dispensers. But again, that's another way of utilizing what would normally be waste and just doing something fun and cool with it. And in this case, it has the added benefit of supporting charity as well.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. I think
Pleasure.
so I feel like you could probably talk for hours just about like the sustainability side of it.
I have to myself.
And also the whiskey side of it. Yeah, but that's such a cool insight. Thank you so much. Yeah, if we might see you later, if you can hang around. We'll come back at the end.
We'll catch you playing ukulele in a bit.
Yeah.
You may catch me if you're quick on adding me and you don't want.
Well, actually, to be honest, I am actually in charge of that. So if you do practice, I can just quickly add you, and I'll just be like, God no, that's okay. But thank you, Matt, for chatting to us. It's been great.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, buddy. Right, there we go. We're sailing through tonight. Alex Battersby, number 2 now. Really enjoyed that dram.
I don't know what the numbers mean.
I know what they mean.
I really enjoyed that dram too.
Livid. I'm sorry to disappoint Andy. Simon finished first once. I got nothing, not even an applause from Andy. I'm not bitter at all. Simon doesn't know why it gave him number 1. There are 10 of us with the same points. Simon, you're number 1. Don't say that. You are number 1. You're going to get the prize. No, I'm joking. Peter Gilman, number 3. I'm blown away with the recycling process. Yeah, I've got to say it's pretty cool. Any of you who do upcycling and all of that kind of.
I would love to do that. I feel like once I have to like furnish somewhere, I'm going to be like glazing things, like wood peeling. I don't know what, you can just tell I don't upcycle, but I will.
Yeah.
I get pallets and make them into chairs.
Yeah, I'm quite bad. I just go into shops and buy things. But anyway, I can't bother to make things myself.
It ignites like the hunter-gatherer in your brain when you have to like hunt for something on Facebook Marketplace. It's like,
okay, yeah, there you go. The kind of general is Facebook Marketplace. So.
You know who I'd love to hear his opinion on this is Dr. Whiskey.
Yes. Is he here? He is here. Just invite him onto the screen right about now. How's it going?
No.
Hey guys.
How are you? How was the concert?
Oh, you heard it was my daughter, 6-year-old daughter's in a choir
Okay.
at the church here in town, but like it was much more than a children's concert. There was some very high level stuff. It was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool. I hope someone was coming from your daughter. Some of the awesome quality.
Oh yeah. No, their stuff was great too. But I mean, there were proper performances by string ensemble, by like operatic, Nc'nean, all the classics. It was in a church, it's just like, it's religious. What a perfect place to see God.
Yeah. And there was you sitting there the whole time, couldn't even enjoy it. Like, I've got a whiskey tasting to go to. I've got a whiskey tasting to go to. Is that right?
You know how stressed I get, Jess, right? I'm a real stressed guy with camera. And
yeah, I think
it was nice seeing Matt. I wish I could have chatted to Matt. We could have a ukulele duo if he's hanging out, but nice to see you, Matt.
Have you got your ukulele with you? Because maybe we can.
Yeah, it's in this room somewhere.
Yeah, maybe we can turn this into some kind of a jam or something like that.
My ukulele.
Yours, Jess. Yes.
There he is. That's it again. It's again. This could be a chords at first. We can have a ukulele jam.
Oh my God,
it's happening. Pour and strum. Strum and sip.
Pour and strum sounds awful.
Pour and strum.
The thing is, this is what whiskey makers get up to when they're bored of making whiskey and stuff, is they just pick up ukulele. That seems to be the first instrument that they come to.
It's always to hand. They're so
yes. You can carry it around anywhere with you as well, can't you, the
ukulele? 100%. I also want to talk to you, so I will be joining you very shortly after you explained this wonderful piece of liquid here.
Enjoy, Matt. This whiskey that I've got here, Sam, is so old I can't actually crack open the pour. Now I feel like if I'm going to do it in front of everybody and I'm going to crack
it's going to
this.
go wrong. Mine was difficult too, though.
Is it difficult as well? They've made this one particularly difficult.
You don't want to spill any.
No, I don't want to spill any of this. Yeah. So let's start. So 40 years. That's pretty cool. Firstly, and for Master of Malt, what's your personal highlight? You've been there a long time.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it this week. I have. Well, I came from years, just under a decade with William Grant & Sons. So I've been at Adam, Master of Malt, Maverick Drinks since 2018. And as Jess probably remembers, I mean, this business has been a lot of different things over that period of time, because it was an independent company when I joined, and it was purchased by ABI or ZX Ventures, or invested in by that entity. And then COVID, and then it's been so many different businesses, not just for ownership reasons. So I've seen a lot of different faces. I've been a fan of, Master Malt and Boutique long before I worked here. So these 40 years, I didn't realize till I got here that Master Malt, in 1985, started as a mail order sort of booze business. And you could, they did their own independent bottlings, and you can still find them at auction and stuff. And you could, by post, would get your bottle sent to you in the mid 80s. And the cool thing about when we're trying to look to celebrate, how do we mark that occasion this year? One of the things naturally was to sort of, to revamp our Master Malt independent bottling range. We reintroduced it after a little hiatus, just over 2 years ago. In this livery, I think some people might see, super simple. It's about the liquid inside, but just all the details you want, including tons of mistakes, because we're just a bunch of humans fucking up all the time. And you guys, and the nerds always catch us. So I'm always grateful for the whiskerati out there catching the errors that we've made. And so, we just wanted to refresh it. So I don't know if you have images, but we redid the packaging to make it look a little more swanky, and to be able to export it, really, to be able to give it to our partners globally who have been demanding it, but it was only something sold on the website. Mm-hmm. So to celebrate the 40 years, we redid that, and then came across this cask from the mid 80s.
Okay. And you thought that's the one to celebrate our birthday with?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of reasons for this. I have a personal sentimental attachment to William Grant and Sons and to the Girvan distillery. 1985 was also a quiet era for Scotch whiskey, grain included. But malts, there were some years, many malt distilleries, some of the big names that we know and love didn't produce anything in the 80s. It was the era of vodka and cocaine. Whiskey was very out. It was before wellness.
Yeah.
So there was another reason for people drinking less, and it was chemical. Anyway, cultural and political too. But anyway, there wasn't a lot of booze, so there's a thin supply of whiskey out there from this era. So when we were looking to find something that could celebrate the 40th anniversary and actually be 40 years old, there wasn't a ton to choose from. Of course, when the big brands came back online in the late 90s and 2000s and started selling 12-year-olds and 18-year-olds, if there was any of that stock, it got depleted. So anyway, so there's not a lot out there. We've got some gorgeous Strathmill. We've got a Macallan from that era. We've got a lot of stuff. But this particular cask, we thought would just, it brings the whole world of whiskey together for a lot of reasons. It's grain whiskey made of corn, made of maize, which if it was done in the United States and put into new charred barrels, it would be bourbon. It'd be 40-year-old bourbon. Except maybe the ABV would be different. But anyway, you know, we could distill it to a certain. I'm trying to make the analogy. This is a global drink.
Yeah.
It was something that wasn't just about Scotland. It was also from an independent, family-owned company like we are again. So Master of Malt, like Girvan, like Glenfiddich, Balvenie, Monkey Shoulder, we are an independent, founder-owned, founder-led business, and so it just made sense.
Yeah. Do you want to talk to us a bit about Girvan in general as a distillery for those who weren't even aware of it at all?
Sure. Yeah, it's in Ayrshire. You can go visit where Robbie Burns was born, and then continue down the road quite a ways, and you can go to Trump's golf course. I think it's still a Trump Turnberry.
Really? Okay.
To give your respects in whatever way you choose to, and I leave that to you. You bring your own toilet paper. And just a bit further down the road is the Girvan distillery. So grain distilleries aren't the sexy romantic thing we see in Scotch whiskey, but you know, it is to some degrees a sort of ethanol perfection or extraction facility. So it creates energy as well that they give back to the grid, but it creates they create glorious whiskeys, and I really am I've always been a huge fan of grain whiskeys from when I was first introduced to them when I first moved to Scotland in 2002, from things like John Glazer's Hedonism and other single casks from Barry Brothers and others. Grain whiskey was like an unsung hero, and there was something charming about that. And then I learned that at great age, grain whiskey just gets wild and wonderful.
Yeah. And it's what I love about it is that we've tried quite a few older grain whiskies on Pour and Sip, and it's like been a great chance for people to actually try older whiskey at reasonable prices, and they can actually get their hands on a 40-year-old whiskey.
This is another great thing about it, I think, and it's not, look, age. We don't need to be ageist about it. Older isn't necessarily better, but what a treat is it to taste something from that long ago, to see how the elements in nature and the cask breathing have affected organic matter sitting in a
I think like it's, you know, obviously age doesn't always signify. I've tried some bad 30-year-old whiskies. I've tried some amazing 8-year-old and 5-year-old whiskies, of course, but there is something when you get into whiskey about the idea that something has been in a cask for 40 years and you're getting your hands on it and you get to drink it. And there's something quite special about that, I think. And with grain whiskey, you get a chance to get that at a much more reasonable price than you would with single malts.
Exactly. And just so that it's not only because it's cheaper to make, there's just less demand in the market for it. So I don't want anyone watching this to think it is like an inferior product.
Yeah.
It's a different drink. It's a different thing. It is more energy efficient to produce, so it's cheaper. The raw materials are cheaper. You don't have to put it in one of those kettles and batch distill in pots, you can continually distill. So it's a very efficient method of producing booze.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, so just nosing this, it's got that classic grain character. It's absolutely wonderful. It's the creamy, but there's this other element to it. This kind of a treacly element. So, what was this matured in?
It's funny with things like this. You just got to trust the paperwork.
Yeah. Okay. So okay.
And sometimes things. I mean, we aren't the distiller, as I said. We get this on the broker market, and the distillers, for whatever reason, parted with it maybe for blends years ago, and then it ended up just maturing on. I think when you smell it, it smells like older style European oak.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. Is the simple answer. I think the paperwork said refill sherry.
Yeah, I've got that on the notes.
Yeah, but we just put what the paper says. I can't. I wouldn't dare guess, because that's how do I substantiate that other than my big nose saying this is what it is. So I think refill sherry is fair. Who knows how many times it was refilled? Who knows if it was a hogshead or a butt originally? I don't know if it's moved wood over time. We don't know the full history. And that's also something I think romantic.
I love that. Yeah. I think there's two sides of this. It's like, I love transparency, this whole thing, but I also think when you're getting stuff like this, you've got the broker market stuff, it's just great to try it and just go and put those pieces together yourself and just sit with it and just go, oh, what was it? This is kind of romantic, that idea, I think. It's kind of like, with a lot of older whiskey and something, there's definitely that period of time where, how do you kind of balance that oak character? When is it ready? When is the oak going to get too much? How do you do that?
How do you control that intentionally? I mean,
when it's ready and you go, okay, that's yeah.
Well, the one thing I definitely learned the good fortune of working closely with Brian Kinsman and David Stewart at William Grant & Sons. And I remember Brian the conversation was regarding Sailor Jerry spiced rum.
Yeah.
But one thing he was saying is that certain flavor compounds, chemical compounds, don't sit dormant and consistent. They don't show, even in a gas spectrometer test, they don't show the same all the time. They'll go like this, especially for sensory. So vanilla will go whoop and then disappear. So sometimes you'll drink the same sample of Sailor Jerry. This is a particular example when we were talking about it. And 15 minutes later, it won't smell the same. It's not because your brain's off or something's wrong. It's because it actually isn't giving the same aromas. That's bloody cool is that?
Yes.
So that's a lot of people say, especially with old whiskey, give it time in the glass. And I definitely agree. And just spend time with it. This spent a long time waiting to come to us. But one thing is, if wood is starting to dominate, one thing you can do is just wait and see. Or you can take it out of that wood and try to find a more knackered cask, something that's got less tannins because it's been used a few times. That comes with other risks of leaking or higher losses. But sometimes it's amazing that just waiting, just having the faith, and that's another romantic thing about Scotch whiskey, I think. But having the faith to just wait and see what tomorrow brings, that optimism often pays off.
Okay. Is that you can take that from experience as well?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I don't want to name the distillate, but we had stuff that was fucked. Soapy. It was soapy. Very valuable, soapy whiskey. Shit, I should have. And sometimes because you're buying in a parcel, you don't ask for samples for everything because it's easier on the seller. It's easier on you if you just grab it and buy it off spec.
Yeah.
So you do that sometimes. And so these two particular casks came in of a reputable distillery of great age that were flawed. What are we going to do? So we tried to be positive rather than think negatively about it. And we said, let's put it in some of the best old wood that we have. So we had an old 100-year-old butt from Spain.
Yeah.
And we had a Aaron Punchin, a Punchin that had held Aaron single malt as well. So we put it into those two things and we just kind of forgot about it. And just earlier this year, we went to have a look to see how they're doing. And they're great. One of them still has a bit of that note, but the other one is just perfect. So we didn't really do anything other than just cross the fingers and pray. I've also had friends or like people we work with a lot of independent bottlers and trade casks and everything who've held casks at our warehouse where they've tasted something. It was great. They bought it. A year later, it wasn't great. A year later, it was fantastic. A year later, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
So it was just going. It was going woo ooh. So I don't think there's. I think there's much more art than science to it. I'm sure you could break it down to science, but I prefer, because I'm not a scientist, but I prefer, and a bit more of a guitar player and writer. But I'd rather take the romantic route because it just feels.
It just feels right, man. Like it's just, you know, when it feels right. You'll know as a ukulele player, it's like being a musician, that you know when musicians turn around to each other and you're playing and you make that face at each other because it feels right. It's an inexplicable thing because you can't like put it into science or anything that's real. It's just a feeling that you have, and you look at each other and go, "This feels right, man. We are in the pocket." Maybe ukulele players do experience that when they're jamming together on whiskey tastings.
I can't see any other reason why there'd be ukulele orchestras than to chase that high. So
yes, exactly. There's quite a few notes coming in this, and there was actually Steve Conwell Williams asking a question about on your whiskey shelf. Is that the best value whiskey on the shelf? It is not. You're probably not. The Thompson Brothers, isn't it?
It's a Thompson Brothers bottling that emulated that old Tesco value. Yes. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well spotted.
And there's the dairy milk.
That's also nothing to do with Cadbury. That's Dalry milk.
Don't mention Cadbury. That's Dave's Canadian. Is that the Canadian corn?
Yeah. That's Boutique Dave's.
Boutique Dave. He's on the call at the moment. He's watching.
Hi, Dave.
Hello. I don't know if he still is watching. He was watching. I think
who could after I came on?
Yeah. He's savage if he left.
He just went, that's enough of that now. That's the end of that. Great, but also, as a Girvan has been known for producing really good grain whiskey. What's made it such kind of a standout with distillery for making grain whiskey?
Well, a team that doesn't compromise. So William Grant Sons, everyone's heard of Glenfiddich, the number one single malt in the world. Most people into whiskey have heard of Balvenie, Monkey Shoulder, Grant's Blended Whiskey. This is a family-owned company that doesn't cut corners and never has. There's actually a wonderful story, I think, related to Girvan. I'm gonna screw it up, but 1963, they were building the distillery, and Charles Gordon was the chairman, and he decided to build the distillery because he was kept waiting in a Diageo meeting or a Guinness UDV meeting, the company at the time, because they needed grain for their blends. He pissed him off so much, so the story, that he said, we're going to build our own distillery. And all the designers and developers did all the work and said it's going to take X amount of time, 6 months, whatever the number is. And he refused to accept that. And he rode around the site on a bicycle saying, get everybody on this, get on this, and just stayed on top of everybody. And it was done in like 2 months instead of 6. Whatever the time was, it was a fraction of the time. And then the legend goes that his bicycle is put in with the cement in the building. So the team who built the thing said, fuck this guy. Anyway, I just think
one day will somebody be able to recover that bicycle and prove that story true.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe there's a little bit of a wheel poking out just so everyone knows. I can't remember, but whether it's true or not, it definitely captures the ethos of that business. Is we can do things better and make them on time, and things don't have to be a certain way. And I think that's inspirational. That's driven a lot of decisions that the whole industry has made. The decisions that the Grant family and the Glenfiddich company has made over the years has not just affected them, it's affected the direction of our whole industry. So anyway, I think that's one reason. And then the scientists and the quality of the team to make sure that they're creating not just something that's efficient, which they are doing as well, but something that has enough flavor that they can do various things that they need to do with it. That's probably
cool. The notes coming through, Jess, do you want to read some of these? There's quite a few here, actually. Now I've missed half of them.
Where did we
Oh,
start?
Dave Worthington is still here. He said whiskey needs a little mystery sometimes.
Agree. Where have we got the notes? So we've got Peter Gilmore saying to the nose, treacle, custard, and grilled banana at the end, to which Clive Hampton replied, I'm off to grill a banana because I don't know what one smells like. To me when you grill a banana. Peter Gilmore is also getting caramel, cinnamon, and fudge. Chris Leno, very smooth, very sweet with a honeycomb taste. Steve Coleman Williams, stewed cinnamon, rhubarb pudding on the nose. And then Niall is saying, anyone remember toffos? This is like a whole roll of assorted toffees. What's a toffo?
Ooh.
Anyone know?
Sounds like a derogatory term.
Get out of here, you toffo. No.
Exactly. Well delivered.
Malcolm Tucker, fresh soil rye or cereal, leather polished chocolate covered toffees. Everyone's getting a lot of toffee note. Do you know what that is? He's talking about Nick Tarrant, Jess?
Brasso?
Yeah.
No. I never know what these like niche references are. I don't know what
That's why I'm a big fan of Emma Mackay's comment that just says so good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yo, Brasso, all those notes, I have to say, so Brasso, I think is a cleaning for like for metal or like your candelabra, isn't it?
Just fine. Oh yeah, Brasso metal polish. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Now I can see it. The look of it, I know it's like blue and white.
Yes, and I think grain whiskey does have that character, that absolutely high esters and ethanol sort of characteristic. But the other things, I think it was Peter who you read first, Jess. All of those, he basically just did shorthand for exactly what defines sort of grain whiskey characteristics. It's that tropical fruit, toffee, custard type of thing. That's exactly what's, and especially at great age, just elegant and beautiful. And the other thing to say about this whiskey is that's a natural cask strength.
Oh,
so after time,
percent.
It's only nature that's brought it down to that, which I just think is also bloody cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Malcolm Tucker saying creamy vanilla custard. There's a common note that's appearing here is creamy vanilla custard, velvety milk chocolate, honeycomb, cinnamon, finished tobacco, sweet fudge, and some oak. Pearson was saying like metal polish for like brass, lol, reminds me of the BB, lol. I don't know what the BB is either. Steve Coleman Williams, the Baron Cullen, toffee, leather, tobacco, and a subtle herbal, earthy note. Dave saying whiskey needs a little mystery sometimes. Clive Hampton, there's been 3 excellent whiskies tonight. For the first time in a long while, I'm going to responsibly drink the box at one sitting. You've still got 2 to go.
Well, something I was going to say is that I think we've had quite a few grain whiskies on Pour and Sip.
Yeah, we have.
And I think this is one of the first where like sometimes people are like, you know what, this is just like not for me. I just don't like grain. And I've not seen anyone say that so far. So
Malcolm Tucker saying I think Girvan is the favourite grain I've tasted on Pour and Sip. It has something extra.
And it is 40 years old, that might help.
No, I think is it maybe the sherry element that's clearly here that we haven't had before in any of the grains we've tried in here before. Is that what people are finding pleasing? Like, I mean, I'm a big fan of grain whiskey, and like you're saying, like I love hedonism really kind of moved me into liking grain whiskey, and I was like, wow, this is really good, this stuff, I really like it. And then we tried some great stuff here on Pour and Sip. I can't remember anything that maybe have had like a sherry element like this. So I don't know, like Jonathan Charles says sweet butterscotch. I've bought a bottle, can't afford 40-year-old malt. There you go, that's exactly it. Just out and bought himself a bottle. And yeah, like it's a really important point you said, Sam. Doesn't mean it's an inferior product. You're saying it's like mostly actually just a demand thing.
Yeah, and I think like Jess says, look, I think when we come to the world of single malt Scotch whiskey, we expect a certain type of flavor and drink. And then someone gives you, hey, try this other type of Scotch whiskey, and it tastes thinner. It's a different texture. It doesn't have, I mean, a lot of malt whiskeys have off notes that become interesting over time in wood and interacting with oxygen. And grain whiskey doesn't. It's not produced to have off notes. It's perhaps a bit simpler off the still, but because of that, what it is, that tropical fruit, runny honey, custardy vanilla, waffle cones, ice cream parlor thing, just grow beautifully, especially over time, where that Brasso element, because I definitely think on young grain and young cheap blends you can get at the shop, you can taste that bit of the cleaning agent thing, and I'll definitely confess that. But I think over time, as the ABV drops and the character of the wood and oxygen interacting with everything happens, then it becomes something pretty damn special. And to get a 40-year-old whiskey for whatever we're selling this for, I think that's part of the appeal.
Yeah, it was like 140.
125 on this.
That's crazy. Yeah,
nice.
It's great. I love it. Steve Khan Williams is saying, are ukulele players not musicians, Andy? Well, I mean, I'm a drummer, so I've settled for that joke for many, many years that I'm not a musician. So I'll take that. Peter Ray, been great to be able to try this. Thanks for including it in the box. Definitely getting the sweet, creamy fudge notes up front. And then it gets much more complex on the finish. Dave Worthington says, hey, boss, I've got my banjo out. Okay, so we should find...
He means an actual banjo.
It's an actual banjo. Yeah. Peter Gilbert saying, I wish I could play an instrument. And Real Boing, I got creamy vanilla syrup on the nose. I added some water, which smoothed it all to a rich vanilla custard cream with treacle.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I haven't actually added water to this. Is this... Dave, Sam, you've done this before. Does water does this add a layer?
It's always worth doing, but I often think that when something's come below 50% naturally in the cask, neat is probably fine. But I do think, just for interest sake, when we're geeking out or when we're testing the quality of something, you do want to add water, because if there is something wrong, you'll detect it when the ethanol gets brought down.
Interesting.
Fair enough, yeah.
So water almost like reveal, like, I mean, we all know it reveals like different parts of it, but yeah, actually, I think people, are really hesitant to add water because it's like not, straight is like the way it's done. But actually, yeah, it's good to like even the pros are doing it.
Oh, the way it's done. Exactly. Well, anyone who makes whiskey or is exposed to whiskey and when they're drinking it, I've been in the company of, I don't know, David Stewart or Brian Kinsman, like I mentioned, or Bill Lumsden or Richard Patterson, all the whiskey makers. Of course, they do it as part of their trade. Maybe it becomes a habit, but they also, depending the drink, they will always add water. It opens up the drink. It can make it more enjoyable. And also, if you're inspecting something that a single cask of something, it is wise to add water, because then you can see if there's off notes, sweaty socks or mold, these type of things that can appear.
That's really interesting. I hadn't really thought of it that way before.
Yeah, neither.
That water was added to kind of, you could like, that ethanol is actually going to kind of hide some kind of funk that might that you don't burn instead. Well, I think everyone's absolutely loved that one, and I sure have. Did you like that one, Jess?
Yeah, I think I was really lucky to like, my first sort of like whiskey mentor was Christiana Westray, and she's such a big fan of grain whiskey that immediately I was like given so much grain, and I think I'm just so glad that I never had any like preconceptions about it. Like, no one ever told me it was bad before someone told me it was really good, so I've always loved it.
Yeah, I've never really understood the whole preconceptions about anything in whiskey, because I'm just like, well, it's like turning around again. Like, I mean, I like music, and it's just going, well, no, all metal music sucks, and
some people do say that.
You listen to it, any of it, and they're like, no, not really, and you're just like, well, what do you mean it sucks? It's like, any of it. It's like, there's no way you won't like a grain whiskey, you won't like a blended whiskey, you just haven't tried enough. Like, it's kind of that, really. Like, it's a weird, I find it with all things, it's a bit of a weird take, I think, because there's always, especially with something as broad as like whiskey, you're gonna find something you like.
Well, look, if we can just get mildly political for a second, I do think exercising the muscle of being open-minded that whiskey demands is such a healthy thing.
Yeah.
I know alcohol is not healthy. I'm not saying that. But poor instead, being in a club that is open-minded to try the next thing and to learn more about something, we need more of that sort of attitude across normal society. And I think whiskey fosters that sort of community. I mean, the North British Distilleries, founded by 3 competitors and still owned by 3 competitors. The industry's collaborative. The drink itself demands curiosity, and I think that's a healthy thing.
Yeah, I totally get that. There's no point, like, kind of like, you have to be open to everyone's viewpoints. Not just set everyone up because you disagree with them. That's going to get political if we're not careful.
Yeah.
But I do agree with that. And whiskey is so much like that. And Pour and Sip has been really good for that, because the amount of times you see people who are just like, I didn't like peated whiskey, but actually that one was quite nice.
Yeah.
And we've seen it all the time. I've heard things like, I don't like bourbon. And you're just like, well, that's crazy, but okay. And then they try one at the Pour and Sip, just throw a bourbon out, and they're like, wow, that was really good. It's like, yeah, I know. There's going to be a bourbon you like. So we've seen it loads of times here on Pour and Sip. And that's the beauty of like having something like this and being able to try things without as much pressure of having to go and buy a bottle of it and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
Wise words from all.
Wise words from all. So I think we have got 2 more whiskies to try, which is quite unbelievable. So shall we go for those, and then maybe we can speak to you afterwards, Sam? If you
no stress. Look, it's a great lineup. I love Pour and Sip, and it's all indies tonight, isn't it?
Yeah. No. We've got Nc'nean. So no. Berry Brothers.
Nc'nean's independent, aren't they?
Independent is in that. Okay.
Anyway, great lineup. Don't let me hoover up any more time. Get to the next whiskeys. I'll drink with you. Let's go.
We'll see you in a bit. Okay.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thanks, you guys.
All right. Okay. Thank you. That was great. I mean, that was a really special dram, I have to say.
Yeah, this is like a all-star lineup.
All-star lineup. Yeah. This is like,
I feel like
yeah,
everyone's loving it.
Yeah. Steve Williams is #Pour and Sip, #ending whiskey snobbery.
Ooh, yeah, maybe that should be our hashtag now. I mean, I feel like it spiritually has been since the beginning.
What, ending whiskey? Yeah, it's quite a good one, isn't it? #ending whiskey snobbery. Yeah, you should speak to those in charge. Steve Coleman Williams, number 3. Unbelievable. You've gone down. Okay. And Peter Gilmore is still rocking it at number 1. Right. Do you want to do one, Jess? One of these quick drams?
Yes. So we have had some quite like unusual whiskies tonight, and I feel like now we're heading to Berry Brothers and Rudd's, the classic range. And the one that you've got in your boxes tonight is the 12-year-old Speyside Sherry Cask, which Speyside and Sherry is like kind of as classic as it gets. So yeah, for those of you who don't know Berry Brothers and Rudd, it's actually a wine merchant, one of the oldest in the world, not even like in the UK. And they still have a lovely little spot in London on St. James's Street, founded in 1698. So yes, basically the classic range from Berry Brothers used to be, I think, non-age statement blended malts. Yes, and early last year it was replaced by single malts, which now carry age statements. But the sort of the point of the range is still the same, which is to show like the classic notes that you'll find in certain regions in Scotland. And I think if we've learned anything from Pour and Sip, it's that you can't judge, like a whiskey by its region or a whiskey by its cover. But obviously there are certain tastes and characteristics that you'll find in like places like Speyside, and the sort of typical Speyside, if you can get one, is sort of fruity, sweet, like a little lighter, and that's sort of what the spirit of this one embodied. It was found for its sort of like fruity, I think cereal and sweetness notes, and then their sort of new-ish spirit curator at Berry Brothers, Felix Deer, who is Boutique Whiskey alumni, chose a sherry cask, an Oloroso sherry cask, for those classic like dried fruit, the spicy notes, bring a bit of like dryness and like richness and oiliness and like texture to the spirit. So yeah, I think if you're looking for just a lovely classic sherried Speyside whiskey, you won't be able to go wrong with this one. It's got those dried fruits, it's got like cinnamon, it's got ginger, it's like got that lovely kind of like caramelly honeyed sweetness. So I think, speaking of it being pretty wintry and cold, this is a very lovely one to have now the weather's turning.
Okay, I will be interested to try that one. Remember guys, we've already done 3, so if you want to drink these at another time, please do. It's 5 can be a lot, no doubt about it. So pour and sip, guys. And I'm taking us to a trip Speyside again, but this one we kind of discussed this. It's Meikle Tòir. Okay, I was torn between Meikle and Meikle, but could be either. I'm going to go with Meikle Tòir, so I'll be saying Meikle Tòir from now on. If I'm wrong, that's neither here nor there. And this is a peated single malt range from the Glenallachie distillery, who aren't really known at all for using smoke, because they're known for their kind of rich, fruity Speyside whiskies. And the name means big pursuit, and it's reflecting their ambition to create a distinctive mainland peated style, but they're not using the kind of classic Islay coastal briny type of peat. This is using St Fergus peat from Aberdeenshire, peated to 35 ppm, and it gives it a more sweet and kind of wood smoked character. So it's kind of a different style of peat. So as we said before, if you're one of those people who go, Lefroy, disgusting, I don't like that, it tastes like kippers and burnt tires and TCP, then you might like this a bit more, because it has much more of a kind of heathery, wood smoked element. So you might like this. It might not have that briny thing that you don't like about Islay peat. Let us know in the comments if that is the case. It also has an unusually long fermentation time of around 160 hours, which kind of helps build up these layers of fruit beneath the smoke. Bottled at 50% ABV, no chill filtration, no added color, and it's a kind of bold, modern take of a kind of classic Speyside whiskey, as you were just talking about, Jess. So this is a good one to kind of try in contrast with that. So definitely finish with this one, I would say. If you are going to drink this, do not, well, it's too late now. If you have drunk this one first, it's wasted.
And don't drink anything else.
We've done the whole tasting now, so it's kind of like, but I'd probably finish with this one later on.
I think if you haven't tried the last two yet and you're saving them, it is really cool to try them next to each other and just think that they are both Speyside whiskies.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So a little compare, a little contrast. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our tasting. See you later. No, I'm joking.
No, bring them back.
I'm joking.
Bring back the band.
I will bring back literally the band. Literally the band. Yeah. Ukuleles at the ready, everybody. Matt, ukulele at the ready. Sam is ready to go.
I don't think we can ever top this.
He's ready. Here he is.
Sam was so incredibly still, then it looked like he was frozen. But
I saw that. Oh, there you go.
Oh, this is so great.
Oh, you got a pineapple one, Matt. Oh, wicked.
Oh, that is cool. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Very cool, guys. I wish I could play ukulele.
You probably can. I think most people can.
Matt, you're on mute.
Of course I am. You very literally can play ukulele. Learn in about 45 minutes.
He's a drummer though, so an hour and a half.
Yes. I even in non-music related circles, I get still.
Even from people with actual ukuleles.
Yeah, it happens. I get it. So, guys, thank you so much. As always, we're going to ask our I never know the word. Pour and sip subscribers, because I was going to say guest. No?
Pour and sippers.
Pour and sippers. That's the one. Yep. As in, Steve Coleman Williams is already asking his question time. Peeps, I asked the question, Steve Coleman Williams. What has been your favourite from the box? I've got to say, this is going to be a difficult one tonight, because, I mean, I say that, they're always difficult. Let's be completely honest here. It's always difficult. But, guys, let us know which your favourite of tonight has been. Sam's not going to be upset. Matt's definitely not going to be upset. And Lucio and Dougal are so far gone that they won't even be listening. So,
what's in your glass, Matt? Are you on the smoky one, the Meikle?
Yeah, I've got the Meikle Tòir, which is very, very unusual. Getting loads of like lavender and Parma violet. It's like
just poured it.
All the weird sweets that I never bought in a top shop. Like,
I love Parma violets. My wife absolutely hates them. I think they're one of the greatest sweets of all time.
Like, they do taste like soap, for sure.
Like soap, but I love that flavour.
You would have loved that funky cask that Sam got.
Yeah, I would have loved it. Like, I'll try it. I love that flavour. Parma violets are like absolute peak. Is peak good nowadays? I was talking to it is okay, because I spoke to someone who I felt was maybe more Gen Z, and they think that peak is bad.
I think it's like a contextual thing.
Okay.
Technically, I'm a Gen Z, so
No,
I'm the voice of reason here.
Can you let me know which is it bad? If I say that Parma violets are peak as in sweets, is that good?
Well, I would say they're peak. I think they're gross, but I think.
Okay, so there we go. Okay,
that you thought they were good.
Anyway, guys, as you guys have both got your ukuleles, the question I'm going to give to you is: if there was a musician, past, present, dead, alive, that you could share one of your whiskies with, who would it be, and what whiskey?
Gosh, what whiskey's harder?
Oh, Matt, you want to answer?
I will pick Laura Marling because I listen to her basically on repeat.
Laura Marling,
and I would quite happily sit down and have a dram with her, although I'm not entirely sure she drinks. But I will sit and drink. And
if there was a Nc'nean, if there was a Nc'nean that you felt she would like just due to her style of music, what would it be?
I would pick something that's maybe softer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd go with Nc'nean Cask strength. The latest batch is 59%, but it is butter.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
So well incorporated and round and soft, and just like a very zippy and intense version, flavor-wise, of Nc'nean. But because you've got that relatively higher amount of fatty acid esters in there, the texture is so luscious and full that it kind of dampens the heat and the intensity.
Okay, we'll get in touch with Laura Marling's PR team. Please, we will see if Nancy's doing this collaboration.
Quiet rebels now.
Sam, how about you?
The first name that I'll just stick with what first thing came to my head because we watched a concert recently of a tribute concert to Leonard Cohen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was interspersed with bits of like him speaking to camera from CBC or BBC and American television and Australian television. He was whiskey paced.
Mm-hmm.
He was a slow, intentional speaker, and obviously a poet and careful with his words, and obviously a songwriter, and he could seduce an audience. He could seduce men and women. He just had a power that like a spirit has. And I think sitting with him in no rush, just letting him
seduce
or whatever he said, I think that would be a dream.
Yeah. Have you got a whiskey you'd share with him that you've made?
Well, I think that I've made.
Ooh.
Well, maybe Darkness, because his last album, there's a song, You Want It Darker.
Okay. There you go. It's like you made that whiskey for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also got a great lyric that also has darkness. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that link.
Yeah, I like that. That's really good. What about you, Jess?
I think it would be George Meikle.
Okay.
Because he's like, I just grew up listening to him. I love him so much, and I still forget that he's dead.
Yeah.
It's sad, like weekly.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
The guy was insanely talented, insanely generous. From all accounts, everything you read or see about him,
and he had such a great sense of humor as well. He was just a jokes guy.
While he's being scrutinized for all of his personal life, still just such a dude that could laugh about it and continue respectfully. Like, chapeau, monsieur. Oh, and what a voice.
Yeah.
But I've not made any whiskeys, so I don't know what it would be.
Is there a piece of work you've written you would share with him?
No.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy?
Oh, no one asks me that question. I wasn't expecting that. It's ridiculous. I would love to share a dram of whiskey with someone who I know would appreciate it, and I like their music. So I would go with Tom Waits, because I feel like Tom Waits would love to sit and have a glass of whiskey. So yeah, I'll add to that. And I think we could have a few whiskeys and talk about a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
He has a song called "The Piano's Been Drinking, It Wasn't Me." So it's he's that kind of, you can sense him sitting on the piano, glass of whiskey in hand, bourbon, cigarette. That's I'd love to sit in that moment with him.
Am I going to put my foot in it if I say I don't know who Tom Waits is?
That's outrageous. But he's a very famous musician, singer. He's kind of very.
Does he sing under his own name?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it certainly isn't pop, or like it's not widely.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, it depends in terms of singing. He's got a very distinct style of singing. Because don't make me do it, but it sounds, he kind of sings like that. But he's also been in films as well. He's been in loads of films. He was in like Seven Psychopaths. If you ever saw that with Colin Farrell.
I think you'd recognize him, Jess. He's in. He's
been in loads. He's one of those musicians. It's like you always see people walking around with like a Tom Waits Rain Dog t-shirt because they used to sell them in places like Top Man and like stuff like that because it was like kind of a very famous album cover. Highly recommended. Anyway, you should really go down that rabbit hole because it's really kind of a genius. But yeah,
we digress.
We digress. Too much about music, and
this is like podcast energy now.
Williams is saying 2 ukes, a banjo, a drummer must be able to come up with something. There is a joke there. If you can think of the joke, two ukuleles, a banjo, and a drummer walk into a bar, a whiskey tasting, and what happens? Okay,
and none of them are musicians.
Yeah, Alex Battersby, who goes, yeah, thank you, Jess. It's only my career. Number 1, I had 4 tonight for the first time in ages. I think the Berry Brothers is my favorite. Malcolm Tucker, Girvan, but the other 2 were great. Real Boing, I'll probably do the PT1, like the PT1 best on the nose. I do, but otherwise I did like them all. I always do. My cross to bear. You've just had a massive chat with yourself in that sentence, Real Boing. I love that. Steve Palmer Williams, Meikle, Tòir, Girvan, and Nc'nean are all 5 and 5 on the database. That's cool. Jess, you want to take over? Clive Hampton?
Yes, Clive Hampton. So far, it's Nc'nean by a nose, but Meikle, Tòir coming up fast on the rails. Niall, Girvan, then Nc'nean. Simon, the Girvan was lovely, but picking the Meikle. The heathery sweet pea is just hitting the spot tonight. David Wilcock, like many, I suspect, tonight, I cannot decide a favourite, but we'll go with the birthday dram as it was so unusual. So that's the Girvan. Steve Colin Williams, the Girvan was lovely. But as I've said before, the Nc'nean wins for the green creds and the employee recognition. And it was my wife, who can't stand whiskey, who introduced me. And then he continues saying, Girvan's very close behind, though. Deserves a mention.
Mm-hmm.
And Malcolm Tucker saying, all I can say is it's been a very expensive month on the Pour and Sip site. Real Boing is agreeing with you and saying, I think Tom Waits is the perfect choice to share a dram with. And Jake's shaming me. Not knowing
saying that's outrageous. I did this with Christy as well when I found out Christy had never had Nando's, and I shamed her, and everyone was like,
she is vegetarian.
Vegetarian Nando's? This is crazy. Of course, she has a vegetarian Nando's. I mean, it's up to you if that's what you want. But yeah, anyway, and she'd never seen Star Wars as well, and that was another one we kind of got onto that kind of subject as well, and that was outrageous as well. But yeah, anyway, outrageous, Jess. You really need to educate yourself on that one. But guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight for another wonderful Pour Sip. Sam, thank you so much for rushing back from your daughter's concert for joining us. And Matt, thank you very much for joining us from your shed.
With your ukulele.
With
you should never mention that now, I can tell.
And we also, a while ago, had Lucio as well from the brewery at West, and Dougal from Timorous Beastie both at the brewery, which was awesome to hear. So it's been an amazing time tonight. When is our next one?
Housekeeping. I have the dates.
You do.
So everyone, get your calendars out. Yeah, thanks to Jake for the dates, actually. Yeah. The next tastings are on the 13th of November. Mm-hmm. Thank God it's not a Friday.
Yep.
And then the 11th of December for our Christmas extravaganza.
Yeah. I can't. Every time Christmas comes up on Pour and Sip, I'm like, wow, it's like again. It's like last week. It's like another Christmas. But we'll have something special for you guys lined up. But if we don't see you before, thank you for joining us, and we will see you on November the
13th. Sorry.
I won't be here, but yeah, anyway, you'll see Jess and Jake. Thank you very much, everybody.
Cheers.